y'all been out there, so fire away.
Well,
Great.
I mean, let's just start general then. You know, I guess 5 days in, what have you seen? What do you like? What don't you like?
Yeah, so I think from just what do we need to sustain that we've from the start, our energy, our older, I don't even say older guys that have been in the program more than just this summer have a really good idea of what to do, assignment and alignment. Our fundamentals are are above what they normally would be. I think that goes back to those OTAs. So fundamentally, I like where we're at. Situational knowledge is better as well. Improve what we've got to do is we've got to do a better job of being able to practice full speed, not be on the ground. Now, part of that is we're two spotting almost every team period, so everybody on our roster is getting reps right now, and so we've got a lot of new people, but we're on the ground too much for a quality football team. The I think we need to finish plays better on both sides. That's one thing that nor not in conditioning nor in OTAs do you get an opportunity to do that where you really go finish plays. We need to do a better job of that. Those are a few things right off the top of my head.
You're getting a better knowledge of what your guys can do in specific situations, or are you still trying to figure that out?
Yeah, I think it's probably a trial and error deal, at least through the first scrimmage. O-line wise because they've played so much football, and D-line wise because they've played so much football. We've got a pretty good idea, strengths, weaknesses wise, on those guys. Receivers, the first group, we know what they do well. Still learning with the quarterbacks. I think tight end wise, we're trying to develop some depth and find out what those 2, 3, 4 guys can do. Defensively, with the secondary, we've got a lot of different ways we can go there. We can play up to 6 guys and feel pretty good about it. So we're mixing up our packages. Linebackers, they played all spring, but we need a lot of valuable reps. I think we're still finding ourselves a little bit there. But we'll trial and error probably through the first scrimmage leading into that second one.
Yeah, by next Thursday?
Yeah. The first one will be this Thursday. We're working on a Thursday calendar, so.
Any new guys really jump out to you? Not necessarily even just transfers, maybe a couple of new freshmen or something like that?
Yeah, start on defense. Asani Redwood is a guy that's got a great story. He's only played football really. This is his third fall. And he's put on he's put on a good amount of weight since he's even been here, but over the last 2 years he's put on almost 90 pounds, which is unheard of. But I like the way he moves, strong, very few bad habits, comes from a really good high school program. I like him. Jalen Shelton, who just got here in July, he's made a positive impression through 5 practices. Can retain knowledge or retain information. Intelligent football player. I think Tariq really runs well. He's learning what to do, but he runs well. I like his initial movements. Both transfer corners are definitely going to be factors, and they'll push to be starters, and they'll play a lot. Rashad and Wes. I think I said that after day one even. Offensively, C.J. Donaldson is a kid that's going to play. He gives us a lot of flexibility. He can play up to 3 positions. He can play tight end. He can play running back. He can play receiver. He'll play. You'll see him. He's going to give defenses some personnel issues. Cortez Bram through 5 practices. He's definitely going to be able to help us. Jeremiah's a little bit more behind. We got time for him to catch up, but Cortez being here since May, Jeremiah got here in July. So those are some guys, that I think that definitely have an opportunity to help us. And several of those guys we want to be ready to go day one or game one.
You've played corners at safety at times or cross-train them. Do you do that with this group to help your safety depth?
Well, Jasir Cox is going to give us a bunch. And we did that intentionally. We tried to add guys that could give us some, ability to play in some different roles. We did that. Marcus Floyd has played corner most of his career. Rashad and Wes have both played corner, but Wes played safety all in high school. He was a safety in high school, so he gives us some flexibility. Jasir can play, a back safety. He can play our spear, which is a nickel. He can play even an outside linebacker and some dime packages. So he gives us a lot of flexibility. So we're going to move those guys around. Aubrey, we won't move around as much, but the rest of those guys, they give us some flexibility, which is helpful.
It's early, Neal, but how you feeling about punting?
I'll tell you, Colton McGee's probably been as surprising as anybody in our camp so far. Hit the ball well. This is year 4 for him. He punted a little bit going back to COVID year in 20. He beat Sumter out for a couple games. But he's hit the ball really well. Oliver had a better day today. But Colton has really hit the ball well, so I've been pleased with him. I like our specialist. Casey and Austin have been really consistent. Parker is really helpful. He's a pickup that not a whole lot of people are talking about, but he could have as big an impact as any of them. Talking about just from a field position standpoint.
Talked about tight ends a little bit there, but again, go through some of the younger guys. Pollinday was a little limited today, but so you get Traylon Davis, Wickstrom, some of those guys, and then even the true freshmen. What do you see?
Yeah, so Corbin Page has been out sick, so I hadn't got as much look at him. He's probably further away from being ready. No, probably he is further away from being ready. Pollinday is what we thought he would be when he came in. He's gone above and beyond. It will help us. Mike O'Laughlin has finished up his NBA requirements. Or for the summer. He didn't get his NBA, but he finished up his classes for the summer. So he's back with us full time, and I was encouraged by what he did today. I thought he moved around pretty well. And then Traylon and Victor, those are guys we need to come on, and they're going to get plenty of opportunities, over the next 2.5 weeks to show that they're ready.
Still a mixed bag at quarterback?
Yeah, I thought that we did some situations today. I thought Nico threw the ball his best through the 5 practices. He's growing. The game's starting to slow down. He has a better understanding of some defensive structure and is more comfortable in the plays than he was in the spring, which is to be expected. He worked hard over the summer. Goose has been solid. He missed the first day, but he's been out there the last 4, and he definitely has some growth. JT's got more experience than all of them. Garrett Green had a great 2-minute drive today, kind of to finish practice.
JT, what you thought he would be when you?
Yeah, you get to know him pretty good because it wasn't that wasn't just a quick, kind of recruitment. Graham knew him obviously better than I did, but he's mature, he's older. I would say weathered, and I mean that. He's been through some real highs and he's been through some real lows. And so his approach is that of a veteran. He's really intelligent. I think I said that at media days. He's smart. What I've really been encouraged by, and this is something that we kind of challenged him with early, and he's really answered, is he's been great in the meeting room. Especially he and Nico, they've gotten really close, which I think's been a huge positive for Nico, especially over the summer. But he's knowledgeable. He understands defenses, understands what we're trying to do within the system. I think that's fair to say, Greg.
You may have said this before and I've forgotten it, but what's your philosophy on practice players and game players? Because some guys play well in games, and in practice they're just average, and they show up in games. What's your philosophy on that?
Yeah, here's what I think. I think that there's very few gamers. I just think there's very few gamers. I think and what I mean by that, there's very few that have the ability to practice poorly and then all of a sudden play at a high level in a game. Now, the flip side of that, I think, is true. I think there's a lot of really good practice players that it doesn't translate into the game. And there's some reasons behind that. Maybe they have some anxiety. Maybe they're really routine based, and then when they get into a game and it's not as predictable, they don't perform as well. So that's my feelings on it. But I don't buy into the gamers. Football is a trust game, and for coaches and for players, you have to earn that trust in practice. And so I just don't see that happening very often. I'm not saying it never does, but I don't see it happening very often. But I do think the flip side of that does happen. There's guys that are better in practice and then don't handle the game atmosphere as well.
How do you feel about your depth of running back, behind Tony?
Yeah, I think we're a work in progress there. Tony's got some significant game action. He's never gone into a season at the college level having to be the guy, but I think that he's more than capable. So I feel really confident in him. I'm really confident in the progress that Justin Johnson's made. There's some pressure on Jalen Anderson and Rucker and some of those guys to get ready. C.J. Donaldson's definitely going to help us some there, but that's not the only position he's going to play. So I think that's part of the what we're doing in camp is getting those guys ready. But I mean, we've got enough bodies. We just got to get them some reps where everybody's comfortable.
Ask Coach Scott this, I'll ask you.
Say again.
Punts and punt the ball in practice.
Well, we really, and y'all probably noticed this going back to the spring as well. I feel like we just got to get better at returning punts. That's something that we lost 2 fumbles last year that if you go back and look at both of those plays, they completely changed the momentum of both the games. We fumble a punt versus Maryland that completely changes momentum. We fumble a punt against Oklahoma State that completely changes the momentum of the game. And so going back to spring, we've really emphasized that, and we're doing some different things as far as coaching it. And I've spent a lot of time with them personally, and so we've got more reps than we've ever had, and we feel good with about 4, maybe 5 guys back there. And so we're going to work some pressure situations on those guys later on this week and then leading up to the game. But it's been a point of emphasis. We got to be better at it. We haven't been good enough on that unit, period. And so we've got to be better.
Back to the running backs, and I asked Chad this. There were specific plays that Letty was comfortable with last year that you were good at doing. Do you think there's more variety in your running game this year with the backs you've got to be able to do some more things, or is it based on what you guys can block well?
Now, I thought that I would probably agreed with you maybe early in Letty's career, but I thought as he matured and became more comfortable, I really thought that he could run all our base schemes. And I have similar confidence in the guys we have. That so much as, what do they do in high school, and then, okay, so what are they comfortable with and what they're not comfortable with? You either got to get a reps where they get an understanding, or it's a play you can't run. And I don't think we're at with any of those guys where, we can't run that with him in a game. And so each run concept is taught a little bit different. Each of them have a little bit different feel. That's a position you don't want to overcoach. You don't want them thinking. You want them reacting. And so you got to be careful. I think Chad does as good a job as anybody that I've been around from coaching that position. But I think these guys have the ability to do all the runs that we have in our package.
It's pretty wide open.
Yeah.
Not to fixate on special teams, and I have no idea why this got my attention, but the Del Negro, Stony Brook. So kind of an interesting story, and I think he got his hands on one today, and he almost got a couple the other day. That seems to be like what he does.
Yeah, so special teams analyst Tony Thompson had him at Stony Brook, and when he left, Del Negro, he walked on actually back in the spring. He was with us all spring, and takes a lot of pride in special teams. He's playing on the defensive line. I think he'll do a really good job for us on the scout team defensive line. And then he's gained some momentum at the end of the spring and into fall camp as far as being a guy that can help us on special teams. kind of a guy that'll do some of the dirty work.
Schedule here from here through. When do you get full pads? How much contact for the next week or two?
Yeah, full pads tomorrow, and we're going to get after it pretty good the next 2 days. So we've got a good stretch. We got after them. I mean, we got after it pretty decent today. I wouldn't say it's probably a medium practice, and then we're going to go back-to-back hard physical practices on Sunday and Monday, and then slow it down Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again full pads on Thursday, and then we'll see kind of where we're at after when we get to that point.
When you do get after more, does the scope of what you're looking for change? Because you can do more things, for example.
Yeah, so it goes into more of an evaluation period. We always talk about drill. You drill for skill development. You do team for evaluation, and so tomorrow will be the first time in full pads. So we'll try to be under control, and then Monday a lot of 11 on 11 work. So that'll be a big evaluation day. Thursday will be a big evaluation day for us. But we've got to see, with a lot of newcomers, we've got to see how they react in the stadium. We haven't been in the stadium yet. Plan on doing that this week coming up and see how they react in the stadium when the coaches are off the field or in the press box and there's not somebody giving them pointers every play and how they react. We need to see that. We need to see when, full officiating crews are there and we're full tackle and see how guys can do.
Weight-wise, and he looked a little different today. Pleased with his development still. Where's he fit in this defensive line picture? You think?
Yeah, I think that's probably as good a battle as we have in fall camp as, the first group, and I would put Sean Martin in there too, has done a nice job. But we'd like to play up to 3 deep up there on the front, especially early in the year in the battle to see who those guys are going to be. I've been pleased with Jalen Thornton. He's done some nice things. He's shown his development as a player, which we need. Lockhart, we brought him here to play. He's got to play himself in shape. But I think that's going to be a really interesting battle. And Zaki is definitely in the mix there. He's put on weight. He's gotten stronger. He's similar in the size and ability to move of some of the guys that we've had, not only here but at Troy and other places within the system that have been able to cause some havoc there. Got some big softball games going on, man. I'm trying to look at the score here.
Thoughts on right tackle? Where you at there?
Yeah, we got to get better. I think that's a competition. It is. And, there's been some ups and downs. But here's the thing, like Yates and Hubbard both are more than capable. And I have a lot of confidence in them. They have the ability. They're good. Will win us games. They're good enough to win us games. And we just got to be consistent in that. That's my push on them. Our expectations for our offensive line are extremely high this year, and it's the first year we go into it where it's probably the first time you ever heard me say that. We have high expectations for them. And that's from the right tackle to the center all the way across. We have high expectations and, we got certain standards from a work ethic standpoint and certain standards from a production standpoint that are going to be met in that room. And right tackle is no different. But we've got, 2 weeks here to get them, and figure out who's going to play. But whoever does line up and play at right tackle, to the best man may win it. But whoever it is, he'll be productive and he'll be ready to go when we play Pitt.